Alright, now we've made it to the verse sections of Texas Flood, and in this video we're going to take a look at the first verse and the second verse. Now these are broken up in phrases. He'll do a vocal line and then he'll do a guitar line, so it's kind of a call and response thing, kind of traditional blues. So let's get right into it. We're going to start here in the first verse. After the first verse line, we're going to do kind of this phrase. That's going to be a kind of a backwards rake down across muted strings into the thumb at the 6th fret on the low E string, then to this G6 chord, which is the 4th fret on the G, the 5th fret on the B, and the 3rd fret on the high E. Pick that twice, slight pause, and then we're going to pick the 3rd fret again with the thumb on the low E. And then we have the bar across the top 3 strings with your at the 3rd fret, which creates a C9 chord. So the next phrase after the next vocal line goes like this, a little bit longer lead lick. So we have, to break that down, we have a slight bend at the 5th fret here, which you'll see a lot of these lead lines, these fills between the vocal lines are going to start like this. Slight bend at the 5th fret on the G string, play 3rd fret on the B and the E, slide quickly from 6 to 8 on the B string. Heavy vibrato, over to 6 on the E, down to 8 on the B, and then whole step bend at the 8th fret on the E, then a whole step bend at the 6th fret on the E string, then 6 again over to the 8 on the B. They're going to pick 6 on the B, then 7 on the G, shift back quickly and do a whole step bend and release at the 5th fret on the G string, and then bend it slightly again to start this next phrase on the G string, 5th fret, and then 3 on the B and the high E, followed by 6 and 3 on the B string. Grab the 5th fret on the high E string, then a quick hammer and pull from 3 to 4 back to 3 on the high E, then 6 to 3 on the B, over to 3 on the E, back to 6 to 3 on the B, half step bend and release at the 5th fret on the G string, pull off the 3rd fret, over to the 5th fret on the D, to the 3rd fret with some vibrato on the G string. Then we're going to have a quick little lick that he ends a lot of these phrases with, which is, that is going to be a pull-off, quick pull-off that you pick the 5th fret on the D string, pull off to the 3rd fret, and then hammer on the last note on the this time on the A string 5th fret. All right, so that whole phrase all together. All right, the next phrase after the next vocal line goes like this. That's a slow bend at the 5th fret on the G. Grab the high E string, 3rd fret, thumb on the low E, then the 3rd string E, and then pick the B and the E string together with that bar at the 3rd fret, and then add the vibrato bar. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So from there, we go to another lead line after the next vocal phrase. That's a whole step, a slide bend at the third string, 5th fret, 3rd fret on the B and the E again, slide into the 8th fret on the B, over the 6th on the E, back to the B on the 8th fret, whole step bend at the 8th fret on the E, whole step bend at the 6th, and then pick 6 again, and then the 8th fret on the B string twice. Then we have a quick phrase, picking 8 twice, over to the 6 on the E, back to the 8 on the B. Then we have, which is 6th fret on the E, quick bar, little diad from across the 8th fret on the B and the E, 7th fret on the G, and then the 6th fret on the B string. Then the next line, he has a little slide figure, which is just from the 17th fret, slide down, and then grab the low E with your thumb, 3rd fret, then the 3rd fret on the G string, and the high E string, and add the vibrato bar. The next phrase, another lead line similar to what we did before. So that's going to be slide bend at the 5th fret again, G string, 3rd fret on the B and the E, slide from 6 to 8 on the B with some heavy vibrato, 6 on the E, 8 on the B, whole step bend at the 8th fret on the high E, then whole step bend at the 6th fret, then pick 6, and then 8 down the B string. Shift back to the 3rd fret. We have 6-3 on the B string, whole step bend and release at the 5th fret on the G, pull off to 3, over to the 5 on the D, back to the 3rd fret on the G. So we have a whole step bend at the 5th fret on the G, high E, 3rd fret, and then the 3rd fret on the G. Then pick the 3rd fret, the 5th fret on the D string, pulling off to the 3rd fret. Hammer onto that 5th string, the 5th fret on the A string. Then grab those top 2 notes really quick on the B and the E string at the 3rd fret. Then that chromatic line 3, 4, 5 on the A string. And then we add those 2 notes we did earlier, the 4th fret on the D, the 5th fret on the G, and pick those 3 together 3 times. Now that will end the first verse. The second verse starts like this. That's holding that G6 chord we did earlier and adding the low, which is the 4th fret on the G, 5th fret on the B, and 3rd fret on the high E, with the low G note with the thumb on the 3rd fret on the low E string. Mute the A and the D string with your 3rd finger, just lightly touching right in between the 2, just barely touching it, so you can mute the strings. Strums, just kind of rake it across, and then do the bar figure here. For we have the low note G, and then the top 3 strings, the 3rd fret, just pick across them. All right, the next phrase goes like this. So that's going to be slide bend at the 5th fret again, and 3rd fret on the B and the E, slide from 6 to 8 on the B, hold it a bit. Then we do 6 on the E, 8 on the B, 7 on the G, whole step bend and release twice at the 5th fret on the G string, and slide down to the 3rd fret. Then hammer on 3 to 5 on the G, and grab the 5th fret on the D string. Then we're going to pick 3rd fret on the D, 5, 4, 3 on the A string, then 6, 3 on the low E, 7, 4, 3 on the B, 8, 4, 3 on the G, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, then we're going to do a quick hammer on the 3 to 5 on the D, and hold that 3rd fret a little bit with some vibrato on the G string, and then end it with that same familiar lick, pulling off 3 to 5 and hammering on the 5th fret on the A string. So we have okay. Well, the next phrase we have is that was going to be one of those rakes again, this time with the top 3 frets, 3 strings at the 3rd fret here, with the low G there, muting the 4th and 5th again, rake across, then strum the top 3 strings again, and then strum the top 3 strings again, this time with a bar at the 5th fret with your 3rd finger, then rake backwards again across these 3s, and then pick it again like the 2nd and 3rd string together, and just put some vibrato on. Okay, now we have another lead line here, which goes like this. So we have a slight bend again at the 3rd string, 5th fret, B and E string, 3rd fret, slide to the 8, then we have 6 on the E, 8 on the B, back to 6 on the E, whole step bend, the 8th fret, whole step bend at the 6th fret, and then 6 and then 8 on the B string, shift back to the 3rd position, 6, 3, bend and release, whole step, the 5th fret, pull off to the 3, down to the 5 on the D string, back to the 3 on the G string, whole step, bend to the 5, then got the 3 on the high E, and the 3 on the G. So we have and then do quick pull offs from 5 to 3 on the D, 5 to 3 on the A string, and then hammer on the 5th fret on the low E. All right. From there, we have another slide figure after his next vocal line, starting at the 19th fret up here, kind of a random. Just kind of let it go down. Then the thumb at the 3rd fret on the low E string, followed by the top 3 strings at the 3rd fret. Play those 3 and add the vibrato bar. And the last phrase we have in the 2nd verse, similar once again, just sounds like this. That's built into the solo. So we have a, once again, bend at the 5th fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B and the E, slide from 6 to 8, then go 6, 8 on the 6 on the high E, 8 on the B, whole step bend, 8th fret, then on the 6, 6 again, and then the 8th fret twice. Then we have this phrase, which is picking that 8th fret twice, over to the 6, back to the 8. Then we had this last little line, which is 8th fret again on the B string. Slight, like quarter step bend at the 6th fret on the high E, then 8th fret on the B, then G string, 7th fret, and then the 6th fret in the B string. And that takes us into the solo, which would be, so kind of the same stuff we've been doing before, but we will take a look at the full solo in the next lesson. So stay tuned for that.